day, and welcome to the Heritage Minute Special Podcast. I'm your host, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Steve Simon, class of 77. Today, I have a very special guest, Colonel Retired Max Miller, a member of the Academy's inaugural class, the class of 1959. Among other things, we're going to discuss a momentous event that took place 70 years ago. Sir, thanks for visiting with us today.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Now, I typically start at the beginning with these conversations, asking USAFA grad guests about their cadet days. That, however, is going to be the meat of our discussion today, so let's save that for later. Dr. Miller, please tell us about your Air Force career.
Well, at graduation, I went to pilot training, as almost everyone in our class did.
Right.
From there, I served 2 flying assignments in the Strategic Air Command in the 306th and 19th Bomb Wings in KC-135 tankers. After receiving a master's degree in electrical engineering at the University of Colorado, I taught EE at the Academy for a year and was selected to go for a PhD.
Nice.
The Air Force had different ideas. They said I had been on flying status for 9 years and hadn't been to Vietnam, so I volunteered to go to Vietnam prior to that assignment.
Okay.
And I spent a tour in Vietnam. I flew 600 combat missions in various models of the C-130.
Wow.
On return, I went to Denver University and earned a PhD. Then I came back for what was the most enjoyable assignment of my career, is teaching our wonderful cadets at the Academy. Now, my subject, electrical engineering, is not their favorite, and I knew that, and I tried to do many things, especially in the core course area, to make it interesting and useful.
Nice.
And to have the cadets understand that this would help them.
I can vouch that EE wasn't our favorite class.
Not yours either. Well, that's
why I was a psych
You were in
major.
the majority. I served as the executive officer in the department. I was the core course director, and one of my favorite things that I was allowed to do was on athletic trips with the my favorite hockey team.
Okay, yeah.
I got to go as a tutor. Of course, in those days, they did not go commercial air, so I got flying time in the aircraft, and I got to witness the hockey and all, which I still enjoy, and I got to tutor the cadets so that they didn't flunk out in EE.
Nice.
Then I was, after 4 years here, my next assignment was another 4-year tour at the Air Force Flight Test Center.
Okay.
And there I really had the most interesting assignment of my career, because we did the flight test, and I directed the test and engineering for the DC-130H aircraft and many what we called RPVs, remotely piloted vehicles. They're now called UAVs, unmanned aircraft vehicles. We did the BGM-34C, and we tested also the ground and air-launched cruise missiles. After that interesting assignment, I went to what I think was probably my most important assignment, and that was at Systems Command as a director, a systems program office director for a mature program, which was a satellite, the Air Force satellite communication program, AFSATCOM.
Okay.
And my job there was to turn it over to Logistics Command, and we did it. It was already fielded, and we had a lot of inputs from the users, and it was a very important job, but it was a system that had already been designed and implemented.
Okay.
But my good fortune was about a short time after I got there, the follow-on system was proposed, and they asked that the Air Force, Army, and Navy get together because each of us had an extremely high-frequency program which was going to be endurable and it had a lot of features to it that the other system did not.
Okay.
And my good luck was that the Air Force was assigned the lead in it over the Army and Navy. It was a joint program, and we had many users.
Brilliant.
My timing could not have been better, and I found that to be true in the Air Force. If you get to a place and you do a good job, things just happen to go well.
Opportunities arise.
Then my final assignment after 24 years, I spent 2 more years as the director of engineering here in Colorado Springs at Space Command and NORAD.
That's what brought you back to the Springs then?
That's what brought me back.
Okay. Oh, very distinguished career. So other than attending seemingly every academy sporting event, banquet, and social activity here at USAFA, what have you been doing post-Air Force retirement?
Well, my Air Force retirement lasted a couple of days. I received a job offer I couldn't turn down, and I worked as a consultant for a company called R&D Associates, and Logicon bought them, and then Northrop bought them. So I did that for about 4 years again, and it was very interesting work, but I had excluded Millstar because I felt that because I had been on the selection committee at Millstar, I should not be working that, although the lawyers told me I could. And so I did that for 4 years, and then I got a job offer at the Titan Corporation to work Millstar, and I jumped at that one, of course, and spent another 12 or 13 years there. But I was unusual, so my retirement caused me to be able to, I only have one son, and he was born when I was a lieutenant colonel. And so he entered school rather, at in District 12 in Colorado Springs, and spent 12 years in the same school district, which very few Air Force brats can claim.
That's true. Yep.
And I also had time in my retirement, because the civilian jobs aren't as hard as the Air Force jobs, skiing with him. I started when he was 3, and I was his baseball coach. I was scoutmaster at Troop 1 here in Colorado Springs, and did all of that with him. We went camping and fishing, hiking. We saw Air Force football games from the time he was 6 years old, hockey games. And when he got up in years and he left my athletic abilities way behind, I just attended his, and I watched his hockey, football, and track events. Then he stayed in Colorado Springs. He asked when he was in grammar school, do I have to go to the Air Force Academy? Because he was at the Air Force Academy with me all the time. And I don't know where I came up with it, but I said, no, just be in a position to turn it down.
There you go. No,
and he did sense. Just that. He had a lot of offers from schools, and he selected the Air Force Academy.
He did. Oh, great.
And graduated 40 years behind me.
Oh, fantastic.
In 1999.
Okay.
I also worked with the class during that time, again, in my retirement. I first developed a bust of General Herman.
Okay.
And that was done many, many years ago.
That's the one that's right outside of the Harmon Hall door.
Yes, it used to sit with
doors.
the airplanes on
Mm-hmm.
the overlook there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. I worked with the Harmon children,
Right.
Eula
Hoff.
and Hoff, yes.
Yeah.
And then later, much later, a group of us worked with the Harmon Memorial Plaza,
Mm-hmm.
which is, in my opinion, I had a lot less to do with that, but there were some really good ideas that went into that.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal thing. I was actually on the Academy staff when that happened, and I remember the dedication when it snowed. So we moved the dedication inside, but everybody had to be outside for the memorial.
That's
We
right.
walked outside. They were closing the Academy for snow, and we were all trudging to the memorial. That was a fun day.
I have a good picture of the dean standing there while she had snow all over her.
Uh-huh.
And it was, and the reason we did that, one of my senior classmates decided we needed to have a parade, and the Academy said we can't do it after, I think it was April,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
they so we said, and I said to the two people that had made the decision, it snows here in April.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was right. But I think that really added to it.
Oh, it totally did. Now the mystique of that dedication was obviously we're still talking about it.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if you know about this. My ski buddy and I, my last ski buddy, were skiing, and we were talking about, he says his F4 unit, we were having a reunion at Wright Pat. And so that was not too long ago,
Mhm.
in the last 10 years. And he said they had a plaque at for their squadron at the memorial at the museum at Wright Pat.
Okay.
And I said, well, maybe we could do that for
Sure.
our we kind of agreed, and at that point, neither one of us wanted to drive after skiing. And his wife, who was an artist, that was John Gallo. I don't know if you.
No, I don't
I
recall.
think some of his wife's pictures are in the AOG.
Okay.
She was a great artist, and she was driving us, and we agreed that the three of us ought to do that. And
Fantastic.
I gave a call. I thought it would be better not to have inputs from all the living graduates, so the three of us decided to do it, and we told people what we were doing, not asking them how. And I did call Brad Hosmer and told him about it, and he said, well, that's a very good idea, but can't you do better than a plaque?
Okay.
And as it turned out, all three of us, I had called Wright Pat to ask what was available.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a plaque, a bench, or a statue.
Okay.
So I said, certainly, sir, we can do a statue.
Yeah.
As it turned out, it was 9 feet high. And as one of my questioning classmates who went in the Marines said, let's see, we're erecting a statue to ourselves for things other people did. I said, well, I don't really look at it that way. And we selected what we thought was most important to our class. And the two things were the honor code and the falcon, which we both accepted, selected,
you were
with a lot of
responsible
help
for.
from General Herman's staff, which at our age at that time was required. And I think it worked seamlessly, and we were very proud. And we were you aware that was there?
No, I do remember you having a reunion there and doing some sort of ceremony. I didn't know the specifics.
When I informed the superintendent what we were doing, he asked if he could go, and of course he could. It's the academy. But I had already asked our first 4-star to do it, so the two of them presented it. The Air Force requires a presentor when you give a gift.
Okay.
And the two of them did it.
Nice.
And
I'll have to get the details on that, put it in the This Day in Air Force Academy history database, because that's obviously an important event?
Well, then I worked on reunions, cruises, and saw many service academy away games. Oh, we dedicated the Challenge Bridge back in 2004.
Right here between Doolittle Hall and Wicker Hall.
That's right near where we are. And Pete Todd and I went out to challenge the cadets. We were not, as he said, we'll seek forgiveness rather than asking permission. So the two of us went out and briefed cadets all day. And
at in processing, right?
At in processing when it was here at Doolittle.
Yeah.
And people got wind, and the commandant came over, and the superintendent came over, and several other people, and they thought that was a wonderful idea. So we got to keep doing it.
It became a thing.
That's right, until today. And let's see, currently, I spend a lot of times as the class president organizing funerals and arranging things and trying to help out with the classmates. There's 75 of us remaining right out of the 306 that came in and 207 that graduated. Right. I also worked the keynote speaker for NCLS. Our class gave that. Right. Yeah. General Hosmer to convince the class we needed to donate the money for that, and we did. And since that was inaugurated, I've run the class inputs, which is it's a very rewarding job because you get to see all the things at NCLS.
Behind the scenes. Yeah.
Let's see, I think I participated in the first and many subsequent ring melts. Again, our class gave the first ring to the ring melt. Yep. And
that's become a nice tradition.
Oh, I think it is. And I think that's one we got from West Point that really was a very good idea.
I hate to admit it, but we got a lot of good ideas from West Point.
Oh, we did. And then, let's see, I think one of the more important things I did in retirement, the last one, was 4 of us retired colonels, one from Annapolis and one a non-academy graduate, and Brockstrom and I, after 9/11, formed a group called the Home Front Cares. Here in Colorado Springs to support the families of the troops who were deployed September 11th, after September 11th, 2001. And we went from passing my gray hat around in restaurants to providing over $1 million a year to deserving military families of deployed troops.
Oh, good for you. So the very definition of a life well lived. So, well, now let's go back into perhaps the most consequential day in Air Force Academy history on 11 July 1955 at Lowry Air Force Base in Denver. As you mentioned, 306 young men reported for duty, and one of those was you, of course. What motivated you to want to attend this fledgling university on day one?
Well, my dad served in the Army Air Corps during World War II, and I didn't know a thing about what he was doing and all. I just know that when I was 4 years old, he left and came back when I was 8. And so I really didn't have a burning desire because I didn't know anything about it. And on April the 1st of 1954, when President Eisenhower signed the legislation for authorizing the Air Force Academy, my dad showed me the newspaper and said, well, what about this? What do you think of that? And I read about it, and it said they were selecting one, that there weren't enough slots for every congressman, senator, vice president, et cetera, to have an input. So the Air Force was giving them the opportunity to, I think, nominate 20 people.
Right.
And the Air Force was going to choose. And I felt that I knew so little about it that I wasn't going to get it, and I would make him happy. And I applied. And by the time I got the nomination, or selection rather, I had already signed up for a scholarship at Tulane.
Okay.
But I was so honored and so overwhelmed by it, I decided I was going to go and make every day count at the Air Force Academy.
Well, good for you. So tell us about how your 11 July 1955 started once you reported in. What transpired?
Well, what transpired was different from the normal that I've witnessed many times subsequently. We were told that our goal was to learn to march into the dedication ceremony and march out, of course, and that was what we were going to do. So we got haircuts, and we had been sent a khaki uniform with a tie. Okay. General Harmon always liked to have ties. And we had it tailored in our hometowns, and we got here, we put it on, and we spent the rest of the time learning to march.
So,
and it was, they did a very smart thing. Our air training officers, our upperclassmen, who were mostly West Point and Annapolis graduates, served as the leaders in the march, in the parade in. It was, they were the squadron commanders and the group commanders. So all we had to do was follow the person in front of us. Okay. And it worked remarkably well.
Well, for all new basic cadets, that first day is intense and active and stressful, but obviously that applied times 10 to you guys as the trailblazers. Because I'm pretty sure no other classes appeared on national television within hours of in processing. So, and that was a major ceremony. I know Walter Cronkite, the newscaster, was there live. And what are your recollections of that event?
Well, we were told that Walter Cronkite was going to be there because we all knew who that was from our watching the news. And he was making a kinescope, which was the recording device used back then, for presentation on the national news that night. I won't say that we did much different because of it, because we were all trying to make it look good anyway. But that certainly added some real enthusiasm to it. In fact, there is a version of that available. Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yes,
okay, I gave a copy to each of our classmates at one of our reunions.
Yeah, I have watched the whole ceremony, Nathan Twining and the flyovers and everything. Yeah, phenomenal event. So. Well,
when we returned, somebody, I don't remember who, it was informally told that we looked better than the contingents from West Point and Annapolis, and I'm sure that was an exaggeration, but it made us feel good.
You had a little extra motivation too,
and it did look pretty good, and that was the last compliment any of us got for many months.
So that was, I know one thing from watching the video, that was a massive flyovers at that event, was there not? A lot of planes, and I think the Thunderbirds were there as well.
Well, that was the first flyover I had ever seen, so I really did not appreciate what I was watching, the magnitude of. And you're right, there were planes everywhere, and I mean the B-36. One B-36 covers most of the sky, and they had B-47s, and they had F-86, and I think there were some F-84s there. And indeed, I think the Thunderbirds were there and F-86s. And there were several other kinds of aircraft, which, again, I didn't know much about it at the time.
Right.
And for most of the 306 cadets in the class of 59. This was a new experience in every way. And I didn't really consider the fact that this was indeed the birthday of the Air Force Academy. It was just when we entered and all.
Sure.
But now everyone celebrates the founding of our academy on April the 1st, 1954, when President Eisenhower signed the congressional bill. This is true as far as it goes. He signed authorizing an Air Force Academy. There was where General Harmon hadn't been mentioned. There was no site selected.
Correct.
Nothing had been done, and that was the very beginning. It was the Founders Day, as it's called, was patterned after the West Point tradition when President Washington went out to survey land on the Hudson River to establish an academy for the U.S. Army. And indeed, that was a very important occasion.
1802.
Yes, 1802. But the beginning of the Air Force Academy was really on July the 11th of 1955. I like to use the analogy that the April 54 date is the date of the conception, and the day of the actual birth is July 11, 1955.
So in April is now Conception Day, not Founders Day. We'll see if that catches on. So, all right. So you were on record as opposing 1 April 1954 as Founders Day with very good reason.
I think it is Founders Day. That's fine. But the date the academy began was when we had officers, cadets, and buildings.
Yep. No, it makes 100% sense.
Oh, I forgot airplanes.
That too. So any other recollections of that particular day? I know it was probably a whirlwind, and as an 18-year-old, maybe you don't, like you say, you don't appreciate it.
Well, I would say in all fairness that everybody has a harder first day than we did, because the goal was to get us to learn how to march. And I mean, we weren't coddled, but the real training, as you and I have learned to call it, began after the parade, after the ceremony.
Once you had your television debut. Well, certainly the class of 59 is remarkable. And as with all pioneers and trendsetters, of course, you guys broke new ground daily. We've mentioned already. You guys picked the mascot, which is a great story. You guys chose the honor code. What was it like to be the first cadets to do, well, everything?
Well, that's a good point. Every class at our academy rightfully considers itself to be the best class.
Of course.
And we do too. But 59 is in a unique position of actually being the first class. And to quote my classmate Jerry Garber, other classes may be better, but the class of 1959 will always be firster.
That's correct. Can't argue with that.
And I am so proud of my class, and I keep some records mentally. I haven't until today. I hadn't written it down, but I wrote down. I have considered some of the first for our class.
Please share.
The first graduate, of course, was our number one graduate,
Brad Hosmer.
Brad Hosmer, and the first Rhodes Scholar,
Brad Hosmer,
same fellow. The first consensus All-American football player, Brock Strom. The first wing commander was, of course, from our class, Bob Beckel. And he is, incidentally, the only cadet ever to be the wing commander more than once, because we ran the wing for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Our training officers left after 2 years.
Okay.
So that's one that probably won't be broken.
Mm-hmm.
My roommate became the first astronaut from the academy, Carol Bobko. My good friend was the first graduate to score an air-to-air combat kill. It was Bob Blake.
Okay.
he was also at Pearl Harbor when it was bombed. But we had two classmates in that category. The other was Walt Sweeney. We had the first graduate to serve as a superintendent, Brad Hosmer
again.
The first graduate to be the USAFA commandant, Bob Beckel. And Bob Beckel, it's not a first, but he still holds the scoring record in basketball. Because in basketball, we only had one play. Dribble down the court, pass to somebody, pass to Beckel, shoot. And that was before we had 3 points. So that was a real feat for that record still to hold.
Yeah, for sure.
And we had the first graduate to become a general officer.
Pete Todd.
And we had the first graduate to become a 4-star general, H.T. Johnson. And many more, but you know all of these and probably know more than I do.
No, as Nathan Twining said at the dedication ceremony, went on to do great things. And obviously you have a lot of pride and in your class and its achievements, and that's certainly well-deserved.
We had the greatest opportunity, and in my many interactions with cadets these days, I try to convince them what they have to look forward to and what the Air Force can do for you, and how many, just from my personal standpoint, our lives, my whole life has been impacted by coming to the Air Force Academy, staying in the Air Force, working with the Air Force after retirement, and even till today, I do something. It's just enjoyable to be with the caliber of people in our United States Air Force.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. Well, we're just about out of time. I'd like to get your final thoughts, but first, a word of thanks to our listeners, and to let everyone know that Heritage Minutes and Heritage Minutes specials are all available anytime at usafa.org/heritagehub. That's usafa.org/heritagehub. Heritage Minutes publish every Sunday in one form or another, to include this month in Air Force Academy history items and audio and video episodes. Heritage Minutes specials like this one drop the third Sunday in every month. You can also find us by searching Heritage Minutes on YouTube, and you can catch the This Day in Air Force Academy history every day on KAFA, the Academy's radio station, at 97.7 FM, or online at usafa.edu/radio. Well, we've been having a most enjoyable visit with Colonel Max Miller, class of 1959. As we wrap up, I have to ask you this. I mentioned earlier how active you are in attending USAFA-related events, and those of us who see you there are very familiar with your ubiquitous cowboy hat. In fact, you wore it today. So what's the story of the cowboy hat?
Well, it's the hat is really not all that exciting. When I returned to the Colorado Springs area after Vietnam and graduate school, I joined a ski club and was on their racing team.
Okay.
And one team we raced against was at Steamboat, Colorado. And, of course, those guys out there were all cowboys. And when we raced with them, they actually wore their cowboy hats at the races.
Oh, wow.
So one year we surprised them by also wearing cowboy hats.
Okay.
And they still beat us, as they always did, but the hat stayed on with me.
And it's become your trademark, so we can see you coming from far away. There's Max. So, well, sir, I can't thank you enough for coming and join us today. This has been just a most enjoyable conversation, and I greatly appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm Steve Simon. Thanks for listening. Find more episodes at usafa.org/heritagehub.